guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is flowing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back, it feels good to be home.
Good morning, Mr. Jones.
It is a good morning. Ooh, I'm hot.
You are hot, man.
That microphone is something. I'll go turn that down. But yeah, good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning. I'd say we are two bald guys, but he's off checking the microphone, so I'll wait till he gets back here. There we go. We are two bald guys and a microphone. At least I'm a bald guy undercover these days.
There you go. Of course, shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymassage.com, 815-385-8190. If you haven't got a massage or a good massage, go get one. They're the best.
And then for me, John over at McHenry Massage has sponsored this show us since 2016. He's a good friend. He's a great guy. And his team of massage, they don't just do massage. They do the hot stone massage. They do acupuncture. They do reflexology, a little bit of everything. If you've got some aches and pains, if you're feeling stress and you want to be blessed, McHenry Massage.
That's it. And of course, our good friends over at JH Events and Flowers. Jen and family over there do a great job. If you need flowers, they're the place to go. If you have a man cave or a woman cave, a she shed, they've got all the gear for that too. It's amazing what they have. You'll absolutely love the experience at jheventsandflowers.com. And don't forget $5 Fridays. If you need fresh flowers for the weekend, $5 bouquet. Nice job. Good stuff. Dreamquest.
Reach for your dreams.
You came up with an idea about Dreamquest.
I did, but let's back up a little bit farther. My initial, the name of my first business when I started off on my own was actually called Reach for Your Dreams, with the subtitle, but don't let go of your responsibilities. Because what I found out all these years coaching, when I first started 40 some years ago, and kids were coming into high school, they kind of had an idea of what direction they wanted to go. They had a dream. Over the past several years, it's like, what are you going to college for? I'm not really sure. I'm just going to go and I'll figure it out. And having a dream, while you may not hit that dream, the path on the way to the dream may, be your ultimate why.
Okay.
You may have a dream to play in the NBA, but you're 5'10" and
fat and white.
Yeah. All those things, right?
Slow you down.
But along the way, you became one of the best coaches I've ever met. So having that dream or shooting for that dream brought you to your passion.
Yeah.
But having that direction, having that goal, I actually, for a homecoming a number of years ago, they gave me 3 minutes. So I wrote a 3-minute speech. And it was
good to see that a guy at your age is still going to homecoming. That's wonderful.
This was a number of years ago, but yeah, homecoming parades, it's all part of the package when you become a coach. Martin Luther King did not say, I have a wish. He said, I have a dream. Then he allowed that dream to give his life direction. Now, what is the difference between a wish and a dream? A wish is something you talk about. A dream is something you do something about. A wish is something you like to have. A dream is something you have to have. A wish is something a genie gives you. A dream is something you give yourself. Most people share a common wish. A wish to be the best at whatever it is they do. It's a wish because they talk about it, they'd like to have it, and they're waiting for someone to give it to them. There's good news and bad news. The bad news is it's not going to happen. The good things is it only takes 3 things to turn a wish into a dream. It takes a mind full of knowledge, a body full of skill, and a heart filled with desire. With those three things, your wish will become a dream, and your dreams can be achieved. Mindful of knowledge? What is knowledge? The knowledge of everything you can learn about whatever it is you do. If you want to be a basketball player, you go to camps, you do whatever it is you can do. You must learn the methods of offense, defense, and ball handling, and how to move without the ball. You must learn what your coach expects of you and learn how to work within those expectations. You must learn what your opponent is like to do in any given situation. You must learn how to conquer your opponent's strength and take advantage of his weaknesses. You must learn how the referee is going to act in any situation. And you must learn to work within the referee's interpretation of the game. You must learn how to continue learning about the game for as long as you choose to be involved. Knowledge is a must if you're going to reach for your dreams. A body full of skill? What is skill? The skill that is necessary to achieve your dreams. Skill is practicing an ability long enough to turn it into a talent, be it ball handling, passing, shooting, moving without the ball, defending, shot blocking, stealing, or any other skill necessary to improve your game. Then do it, and do it often. It's often been said you need to practice a thing 300 times before it becomes a part of you. Practice conditions the mind on how to react in any given situation. The act of practicing strengthens and conditions the body in preparation for the game. The saying, my greatest fear is somewhere out there my opponent is practicing more than I am, and on the day we meet, he's going to beat me, is true. The only way to come out on top is to put into physical practice everything you've learned while building your knowledge. Practice, practice, practice is what they said to me. Practice, practice, practice to be all that you can be. If you want to be the best at whatever it is you do, then practice, 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 and you'll be a better you. A heart filled with desire? What is desire? Desire is wanting a thing so badly that you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can hear it, you can feel it in your heart long before you've ever achieved it. It means that you are willing to devote 100% of your body, mind, soul, time, and energy in pursuit of this dream, in pursuit of being the best at whatever it is you do. It means you're willing to put up with and overcome distractions of any kind during your pursuit. It means that you're going to do whatever it takes to reach out and capture your dreams. Building skill and knowledge are not a problem. All the knowledge you could ever ask for is right in front of you. There's experts of every chosen field. There's a library. There's the internet. And if it's on the internet, it must be true.
Must be true.
Skill is having the self-discipline to put into practice what you have learned. There's no limit on how much you need to practice, but you must do it if you want to achieve your dreams. Desire, on the other hand, is a problem because no one can teach it to you. No one can go to Sam's Club and buy 10 pounds of it and force feed it to you. Desire comes only from within the individual, the team, the community you belong to. If you stand up and you can truly say, I have a dream, and you allow that dream to give your life direction, if you can see it, you can smell it, you can hear it, you can taste it, you can feel it in your heart long before you've ever achieved it. If you're willing to devote 100% of your body, mind, soul, time, and energy in pursuit of this dream, then you have the desire. In addition, if you have the desire, you'll become the seed of desire that once spread within your team will grow like a bad cold on a rainy day. However, if you're just going to talk about it, if you just like to have it, if you're waiting for someone to give it to you, then it's just a wish. Yeah. And there are no genies. I prepared it, and then the volleyball game that was going on inside went into triple overtime, and never got to give that talk to the homecoming crowd. But I've given it many times over the years in different presentations. And there's a lot of truth to that. You know, it's a wish. Do you talk about it? Would you just like to have it? Are you waiting for someone to give it to you? Are you willing to go out and do whatever it takes to become the best you can be? When you move from coaching AAU and younger into the college game, there was a lot of different nuances you had to pick up.
Yeah.
You had to learn,
yeah.
Right? And you're continuing to learn today.
Yeah, you know, I think that a lot of times as a young adult, a lot of times good Americans, I'll speak on behalf of all Americans because I have the voice to do that. You know, my dad once said when I was young, you always follow your gut. If there's 1 ounce in your gut that says don't do it, you ought not do it. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And I think that's the difference between a wish and a dream, right? I think a wish, hey, I bought the mega lotto, but in your gut, there's like, nah, there's no way I'm
There's
gonna
no way
win,
I can win this.
right? And then there's a lot of people who will take that and say, oh well, you put out in the universe that you weren't going to win. You got to manifest stuff, right? As if it comes to you magically. And the bottom line is, I think a lot of us go through life on a wish. Boy, I wish I had this. I wish I could keep up with the Joneses. I wish I could, play ball like Michael Jordan. I wish the Bears could win. And the difference I think between that and a dream is, if you ever wake up from a dream and you've said, man, that was so lifelike, so realistic.
Just yesterday.
Right. And there's no doubt that it happened, right? That's a person's dream. And, Dave Chappelle said it best, and Dave, thanks for listening. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. Dave Chappelle said it best, right? Sometimes you have to be humble enough to realize you're in somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
Right? And it might not be your dream right now, but how cool is it to be in somebody else's dream? So, I've played basketball since I was, 18 months old, the youngest of 4 boys. So there was always that competitive edge to me. It's in my DNA, right? It's been part of my life. And the bottom line is, here I'm 55, still chasing a dream, but I'm humble enough to understand that I'm part of these women's dream, right?
Yeah.
And I'm able to say, hey, whatever I can do to help you along this portion of your path, that's awesome. Now, the Dreamquest, if you can imagine MapQuest, right?
Yeah.
From the old days, right? Or take your GPS and coach.
Google Maps, whatever
it is. And if you get directions, it'll say, you can actually get the written directions. Now, back in the day, that's what MapQuest used to be. We used to print out 7 pages of directions.
And then the ink would run out right before the destination.
Right. So as we talk about a MapQuest, there's you can't punch in a bunch of coordinates to say, I want to be an attorney.
Right.
But there is now AI, and you could say, what does it take for a teenage kid to become a defense attorney or whatever, right? And it'll go, bloop, 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 bloop. Here are the courses you need to take. Here's what you have to do. So it's kind of a dream quest. But I was talking with a couple of my kids. It's my son and my daughter at 2 different times, right? And they're going through some exciting times. What I think are exciting times, they may think are a little confusing times.
The best of times and the worst of times.
And I simply told each one of them, I said, listen, here's where I'm at in life. You may not know it because your mom and dad keep things close to the vest, whatever, but here's where we're at in life, and here are the changes that's happening, right? And I go, but as a parent, we all, and as AI, we're going to give you a path, right? We have dreams for you as our children. We have dreams for you and your family, and we hope that you achieve them, right? And much like AI that gives you a path, boop, 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 each person has to cut their own path, right? So you and I could go out to the lawn today, and you're going to mow the lawn differently than I would mow that lawn.
Absolutely.
But the lawn still gets mowed, right?
Well, and that's the hardest thing for people in management. I want to back up to one of the things you said early in that dissertation. If you're not achieving your dreams, you're simply helping someone else achieve theirs. Now, let me say that again. If you're in a job, that you go to from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever your job is, you're in that job because somebody had a dream. right? And you go to that job every day and you're helping that person achieve their dreams. And so many times we put our own dreams on hold, our own life on hold,
Sure.
so that we can do that. And
A lot of times for kids, right?
right. And parents are the most important teacher, coach, mentor in a child's life. But how many parents have stifled their kids' dreams? You know, the kid's like, oh, I want to do this. And the parent's like, well, you can't make any money doing that. You need to do this. And, you know, it gets to a point where they're like, oh, okay, I guess you're right. And we go down that path. We follow the path our parents set out for us. And along the way, we get lost, we get frustrated, we turn to, you know, all types of different substance or things that distract us from that path. And then one day we realize, well, this is what I should have been. This is what I should have done.
Yeah.
And if you don't identify something that you want to go, your parents are more than happy to lay a path out for you. My dad would have been ecstatic if I would have become a farmer, but the farm wasn't there for me. I mean, I loved it. I was good at it. I did it since I was 5 years old, right? It was all I knew. But once I got into the military, you know, that was the dream. When I came out of the military and we got back to Illinois, I met a lady named Dorothy Cooley. Her daughter went to school with my wife, and our daughter was 2 years old. And Dorothy's like, oh, you guys would be perfect. We need a coach for the Johnsburg Pigtail League. We have a team without a coach. And I'm like, I hate baseball. I got hit by a pitch in third grade and I never recovered from it, you know. And but coach, could I help other people? And so in 1977, I coached my first team. And that became the path that became my passion. And it was because Dorothy happened to be there and she happened to ask that question. But how many people get lost until they're in their 30s and 40s or even later in life, following someone else, helping someone else achieve their dreams? So when I first came up with the MapQuest concept, we didn't have AI like we do today. We had a thought, and if I could put down on paper, you know, if you go to Google Maps today and you put in a destination, right, then the next thing it asks you is what's your location, right? And you can put in your current location, or you can put in another location, so you can see, you know, wherever you want to start, and you can see how long it's going to take. This afternoon, I have to go to West Allis High School on the edge of Milwaukee for a track meet. It's my grandsons. Two of my grandsons are running track for Wilmot High School, and I'm coaching track. And I had to figure out the most efficient way to get to West Allis, but I wasn't at home. So I went in and I put West Allis High School, and then I put my home address in, so I saw how long it would take me to get there. Now, what if you could take a look at an 8th grade kid who wants to become a defense attorney, for example, and you put those two pieces of information into Dreamquest. And I thought, wow, this would be a really cool thing. I know a lot of defense attorneys. I can sit down and interview them. So that meant calling them, get an appointment. They're busy, you know, constantly. You finally get an appointment. You sit down, you ask the right questions. Now you take that and you write it up, and now, boom, I have one. Now, how many potential jobs are there in the world? I want to become an orthopedic surgeon. I want to become a NBA coach. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, with the advent of AI, now you can go in and, you know, I gave you an example the other day of giving me a step-by-step path to becoming a high school coach.
Yeah. What does it say?
I'm going to type it in right now. High school coach. AI offered to fill some things in for me, and one of them is give me a step-by-step process to becoming a high school dropout. You don't need a map to do that, folks. So give me a step-by-step path to becoming a high school coach. Step one, it says, gain experience in the sport. Start by playing the sport yourself and gaining a strong understanding of the game. Play at high school level or join a community league to develop your skills and knowledge. Step two, obtain relevant certifications. Research the coaching requirement in your area and register and get those certifications. And education courses, first aid, CPR training, and background checks. Volunteer or assist youth teams, right? How do we get started? Coffee a little strong this morning?
Got a lot of grit in it.
Oh,
That's the old farm stovetop coffee right there.
we're easily distracted on this show, but the Army coffee, they take a 3-gallon Mermite, a thing, you put 3 gallons of water in it, take a 3-pound coffee can, they dump it in, put the top on it, wait 15 minutes, and come back with some cheesecloth and scoop off the grounds. And that was your coffee.
I was like, it looks a little dark.
It
but,
was
right.
There was always grounds in it. Step 4, network with other coaches, attend coaching clinics, workshop, conferences. Step 5, pursue higher education, get a degree in sports science, physical education, and on and on and on. And it's got all the steps. If you have I use ChatGPT. It's the most common one out there. I know there's a couple other AIs available today, but if you put in there, give me a step-by-step plan to becoming, and then you can actually add into it to becoming a high school coach for an 8th grade student, for a high school graduate, and it will change and it will give you the steps necessary to go down that path. And that seems to be a lot for some people, but when I'm working with coaching clients, it gives me now an opportunity to really get down. The problem again comes back to identifying the dream. What is the dream?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you were listening to the radio this morning at 216 The Net, our radio side, right before the show, you heard our good friend Matt Barafato, the Purpose Center. We've had him on.
Matt's great. We're close friends.
Yep, you got to kind of identify that purpose. Here's the issue that we run into a lot of times as we're on Dreamquest. And this happens all the time. I punch in defense attorney. Well, or if you're on GPS and I say I need to go to, at West Allis High School, and there's a West Allis High School in Iowa and a West Allis High School in Wisconsin. Next thing you know, you're halfway to Iowa going, we should have been there. I don't think.
You got to be aware, right?
You got to be aware, right? And so a lot of times I think as mentors, as people who want to help people get someplace on their dream, is I might be looking at West Allis High School in Iowa. And you're like, no. I want to get to West Allis High School in Wisconsin. So with all my good intentions, with everything that I have in me, I'm giving you the wrong directions.
Right.
But the right directions, in my mind.
We were going to a different school last week, and my wife put it in her GPS, and she goes, "Oh, there must be a traffic accident. It's 3 hours away." I'm like, "What?" I look at it, and exactly what you said. Instead of Wisconsin, it was taking us to a town of the same name in Illinois, which was down by Springfield.
Yep. So a lot of times as we want to help people along the way, and this is some of the problems that I have with quote unquote life coaches. This is some of the problems that I have with quote unquote mentors. This is some of the problems that I have with just regular coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I think that you've hired me, or you are my, you know what I'm saying? And I think that now I know better than you, right? Because I'm your life coach. I'm your this coach or that coach or quote unquote mentor. Diana, good morning. Glad to have you with us.
Morning, Cuz.
So a lot of the issues that I have is that, well, wait a minute. You're giving me great advice to get to the wrong place.
Right.
But in your mind, you're giving me great advice to get to a place.
The place I thought you wanted to go.
Correct.
Because I didn't listen carefully to what you wanted.
And or you thought maybe perhaps that you knew a little bit better. And you know, I was talking with Spencer last night, and I was like, listen, man, I said, I go, and I said, remember when I used to yell at you because of the way you mowed the lawn? He goes, yeah. I said, but in the end, the lawn got mowed, right? And I realized that now. You did it differently. So everybody cuts their own path. Everybody chases their own dream differently. And you have to get scars. You have to get, you know, you got to get the bumps, bruises, and scrapes that along the way that build character, that toughen your skin. You have to get calloused hands, right? One of my favorite shows is Homestead Rescue,
Right.
with the Rainies, right, out of Alaska, and the dad, Marty Rainey, he's like, you want to see my resume? And he holds up his hands, and his hands are rougher than the wood behind us. They're so calloused and just, you know, he's worked hard his whole life. And I'm like, oh God, that's just gross, you know? And, but that's what he, you know, so you can look at this guy and go, those calluses have built him now into a television star where maybe he doesn't have to work quite so hard. He does work hard, right? But maybe not quite so hard because he's got some good money coming in now. But the whole idea for me, when we're talking about chasing your dream or a dream quest, is there can't be any doubt, right? And you can't put a time limit, much like MapQuest or your GPS. Okay, hey, it's going to take you an hour to get here. It's going to take, you know, because what we do inevitably in our minds is we're like, it's going to take an hour. I'm going to get there in 45 minutes. I'm going to beat this, right? So we'll push things and we'll make shortcuts or whatever to try to beat that. Here I am, 55 this year, and still chasing a dream, right? Still trying to lean into my purpose. And the amazing thing is most millionaires, most successful people, it doesn't happen in your 20s and 30s and 40s. It happens in your 50s and 60s. There are studies that show these are the best earning years of your life. Right. And so a lot of times I set out on a journey and I think, man, you know, let's use Amway as an example. Okay, multi-level marketing. Amway sells the dream. You get the dream, and by 30, you'll be retired, working for yourself, independently wealthy. 30 comes and goes, and all you've got is a storeroom full of soap and vitamins, right? I'm not saying anything bad. I know a lot of people, as you do, who've been very, 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 very successful through that. But they try to put a time limit. So what happens when you're not there in that time limit? Even on your GPS, if you get slowed down because of a traffic jam, an accident, or whatever, you get upset and your anxiety builds because you haven't achieved what you set out to achieve in that time limit.
Yeah.
So as you're dream questing, as you're chasing that dream, goals are supposed to be specific. Time, you know what I'm saying? So how do you get around going, hey, you might achieve your dream when you're 72. You might achieve your dream when you're 22. I don't know, right? What, you know, it depends the passion, it depends the grit that you have. How do you help people get around thinking, oh man.
I'm working with a gentleman now. I do the brain training at the assisted living facility here on Bull Valley Road, the courtyard at McHenry. And one of the gentlemen who comes into the brain training is 92 years old and learning to play the piano. And that's just, he said, it's something I wanted to do my whole life, and now I'm doing it. So at 92, he may achieve Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah. But he achieved something. and another a pianist who went through a career in piano at 92. Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? But perspective, right? That's we're never too old to dream. Now, if I start dreaming now, I think I can make it in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
We've got to be realistic in our pursuit, but it is possible. Maybe I can get a job handing out towels
Right.
for the Bulls. Maybe I can be involved. Maybe I can. There's something we can do,
Announcer or something, yeah.
right? It's but you gotta you gotta have a purpose, to Matt. But a purpose and a dream, I think, are really they're connected, but they're different.
Yes, I would agree.
Right. My dream was always to be a speaker. I didn't dream to be a life coach, a business
Right.
coach. But what I found out, being a life coach and business coach paid the bills. And along the way, I've had some pretty nice speaking engagements. I had the opportunity to travel the country, to travel internationally to Canada and Mexico and speak. But the dream, every time I step on stage, I feel that I'm collecting a little piece of that dream. And it just makes a difference. And sometimes I look back and I think, I wonder if they think I'm corny. I wonder if they think I'm, and at the end of the day, yes, I am. At the end of the day, does it matter? Did they laugh at the right places? Did they tear up at the right places? Did they walk away with a life lesson that maybe they can apply and their life will be a little bit better? That was always the dream. And I've had the opportunity to live out that dream many times and can continue to. So,
I mean, what makes a person throw in the towel then? Right? And just say, this is never going to happen.
I don't know because I've never got to that point.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of people who just, they're just beaten down because they've tried so hard.
Yeah.
And part of it is that they have a passion, but they haven't done all the work to understand all the underlying pieces of making it a reality. The business side of speaking is not fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The marketing side of speaking. Mac Davis wrote a song back in the 70s, I think 70s, maybe early 80s. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, right? Yeah. When you're perfect in there. He wrote that song in the hotel room preparing to go down on stage. He says, you know what? I'm going to perform it tonight and see what they think. And it became one of his number one hits. Yeah. Right. But there's that problem. If you're out telling the world, I am the answer to all your problems, there's a problem. Yeah. Within me of marketing that way. So I need someone else to market me. And I haven't found that right person yet to do it. I asked my wife to do it, but she's like, no.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I think that people throw in the towel when they are not surrounded by people who believe that they can get to their dream. Along the way, you have to refuel. Along the way, you have to understand that there's going to be things out of the ordinary that are going to set you off course. There's going to be, along the way, you could get pulled over for speeding.
Yeah.
Right? And good morning, Facebook user. Glad to have you with us. And so I think people don't understand that to achieve a dream, you need people.
Good morning, Lisa.
Lisa, good morning. Good morning. You can't, no one has ever achieved their purpose or a dream by themselves.
No.
It takes people, right? You can go back into biblical times. Noah couldn't build the ark all by himself.
He could not.
Eve did eat the apple by herself, I guess. Anyway, right? There are things. Shayna, good morning.
Good morning, Shayna.
So I think people, when they're bearing their own cross, and what I mean by that is when they have enough scars and enough calloused hands and feet from the hard work of trying to achieve their dream, and there's nobody there to pick them up and walk with them or encourage them or to say keep going, then that is when I think people throw the towel in and just say, I can't take another step. I physically can't get there.
I was watching a race the other day, and it was a triathlon. And if you've not done a triathlon, it can be very demanding.
Yeah.
And this girl is winning the race. She is clearly the one that's going to cross the finish line. And the finish line was literally within 20 yards. And she cramped up. She went down, and she's trying to get up, and she's trying to run. In the meantime, the second place runner passes her up, and the third place runner passes her up. And then both of them stop before they get to the finish line. And they went back, and they got this girl, and they picked her up, and they walked across the finish line together. And it was, in the sporting world, there are those moments. I look back, my grandson, James, has just become a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal young man. But I look back to when he was 6, 7 years old and playing co-ed soccer. And, the parents are watching this co-ed soccer, and it's like it's a World Cup game, and they're all invested in the game, go, 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 and they're all yelling and screaming, and the kids are going back and forth and back and forth. And all of a sudden the game just stops. Everybody stops. And I look out in the field. I'm like, what's going on? The girl who was dribbling the ball was on our team. She's dribbling the ball, and she noticed her opponent's shoe was untied. She stopped the ball, got down on one knee, and tied her opponent's shoe. And I don't carry my cell phone on the sideline. I never have. I don't need that distraction. But I just shouted out, would somebody get a picture of this? This is what sport is all about, right? It's not about the ultimate dream of playing professional. It's about being in the moment and doing what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And for this little girl to do that, to stop. Now today, how many times your shoe's untied, right?
Yeah, right.
We go on. This life would be so much easier, so much better. It'd be so much easier to achieve our dreams if we all work together, if we all looked for someone who's got a dream and then, supported them in any way, shape, or form that we can.
Lisa says that it takes people appreciating people to be a true success, not people using people as society seems to see. Yeah, that's it. There was a time in life where I was probably pretty
competitive.
No, opinionated perhaps about somebody's dream. You're an idiot. Why would that's a stupid dream?
Yeah.
Right. But with this station and the shows that we do, it has allowed me to go, I love that. Let's go get that dream. What can I do to help get that dream? I was watching a little bit of American Idol. Yes, I'm an American Idol fan. Not a big, it's too soft. I really liked it when it was older, when, there were some funny things, and harsh. It's feel good now. But Luke Bryan said that too. A couple of shows ago, there was a young man, Ziggy is his name, from the Netherlands.
I saw the episode, yeah.
And he's got, half pink hair and half blue hair, cotton candy. And he's a very colorful individual, right? Can sing like anything. And Luke Bryan even said that. He goes, when I first started this gig 7 years ago, he goes, I'd have seen you walk through the door and go, oh boy, here. Oof. and you know, had a tendency to be closed-minded. And now when I see you walk through the door, I'm like, this is going to be good. I want to see what this is about, right? And I think a lot of times we get pretty focused on how do I tear your dream down, because I'm not working hard on my dream at the moment.
Right? Yeah, all right. I didn't achieve mine, so I'll be damned if I'm going to let you achieve yours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Shana says only half of the benefit of sports is unrelated to the sport itself. That's why I thought academic suspension of school kids was harmful. Yeah. Yeah. I tell the women on the basketball team, and what's the percentage of women who are hold important, powerful roles in the world, not just in business, but also in government. How many of those women participated in collegiate sports? And it's over 60%.
Yeah.
It's very, very strong. So as I, you know, never in my life did I ever think my dream would be to try to build strong women that would change the world, that will change the world, right? Because growing up in Iowa, women's basketball, when I was a kid, was 6-on-6. You could only go half court. And I was like, this is the stupidest sport in the world, right? And now, thank God for Caitlin Clark, she's like, hey.
Yeah. I'd like to go back to what Shana said there, though. Shana, I coached high school and middle school sports for over 40 years. One of my proudest achievements is not 1 minute of academic ineligibility. Because as we approach it on the scholastic world, they're a student athlete, not an athlete student. I do agree with you from some point. There's got to be a better way. That's like taking a kid who's very disruptive in school and you suspend him from school. This is a kid who needs school, but you kick him out of school. But when I found a kid struggling, I paired him with a kid who was successful in math, for example. I got a guy who's got a D in math. I pair him with a guy who's an A+ student in math, and we continue to build the team on and off the court, on and off the field. But yeah, something's got to be done, not just penalize them, but there's got to be an action that goes along with it, a positive action that will help move them down the path.
Lisa just says that I can't use the word was when saying, describing myself as opinionated. Probably right.
I love her.
Yeah, I like what she is. Yeah, but coach, just, you know, learning how to manage disappointment.
Oh, child is so hard.
But that's good, and that's what sports does. And you know, I will agree with I'll agree with Shana on the academic piece. Again, kind of to a certain extent, because in high school we do. Hey, you didn't cut grades. You can't play this week. Right. At the college level, I will see an athlete without grades, and I will go, hey, let's go to the Sage Center and get those grades up. Right. So I take a very active role, and the college takes a very active role into helping that child rise up. Right. In the public school system, I don't have time. You know, I listen, you just need to do this. And a lot of teachers don't allow themselves to understand that, hey, this kid's not grasping the word, you know, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And a lot of times they're like, no,
I don't.
And because of our own egos, we decide to go, well, you're the idiot kid, not me.
Well, you know, just take as something as simple and complex as dyslexia. It wasn't a recognized thing when we were young. That was just a dumb kid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But when you found out they see the world differently, and someone would read the test to them so that they could answer, they were probably as intelligent or more intelligent than a lot of the other students, because they've had to do things a different way.
Yeah.
We treated, gosh, we could go a lot of different directions at this. Our education system is built around the average.
Yeah.
The average student gets the average education. But when you had the high performer, when you had the underachiever, we just made them outcast and push them away. We just want, the average. And learning, and there's been a lot more movement in the area to identify these kids, to understand that they're special.
So there's a young man. When I say young man, 27 years old, former basketball player, African American. Anthony is his name, and we call him Penny. And he has a dream of being a clothes designer, right? Designing outfits, and
Right.
he's very, very creative. He's got a brilliant eye. And the other day, I was scrolling through some stuff, and there's this company called Alive Shoes. And Alive Shoes is looking for designers to create cool designer shoes, tennis shoes, sneakers, all this good stuff. And I'm like, man, that'd be perfect for Penny, right? And so what happened was I actually bumped into Penny last night. I'm like, unbeknownst, it was just, I was like, holy cow, Penny, hey, hold on. You got to look at this. And this kid, when I say kid, 27 years old, he's an adult, right? He's like, oh my gosh, I've got so many drawings of sneakers. I'm like, bro, get here, reach out to these people and make this thing happen. And he gets excited, and he can't believe that somebody would be looking out for him like that. Right. And because that's his dream. And I'm sure that a kid from the south side of Chicago's dream of being a designer, people have poo-pooed it and said, come on, get your head out of the clouds, just get in that truck and deliver for Amazon and you'll be fine. Right. It's a good living. Right. So I think there's a lot to that. Lisa says, backing up a little bit, she says, I have had people shoot down my dreams because they didn't want to be left behind. And back then I had issues and allowed it. People you want in your life and are worth having don't fear your success. No, they champion it. They celebrate it. There are kids, athletically included, and not intellectually sound. To me, are they doing their best in academics? If it's their best, let them shine their light in athletics. If they slack, then look. Right? Something, she says. So, I mean, Magic Johnson was my hero growing up as a kid. I mean, he played basketball. I absolutely love the way that he played basketball. When he graduated high school, he could hardly read. Right? When he went to college, he could hardly read. Well, now he's a billionaire and has so many business ventures, and he's become such an incredible man, changing the lives of so many people, that you're just like, what if we'd have held him back or said, hey, we understand you got this gift, but you can't read, and now look, right? Absolutely. That explains the custom shoes wave. I'm saying, yeah, probably. And now I've set it out there, and now you'll get it on all of your feed as well. And that's amazing. Kent talks and Coach reads his phone. He's sharing out there.
I'm just sharing out on social media, but thank you for pointing that out.
He turns me off quite a bit. Don't worry about that. Motivation for one person can be the end of the dream for another. It's an interesting concept, and you're right. And that's why I sometimes fight with quote unquote life coaches. It's why I sometimes fight with, I'll even go as far as to say therapists, right? Is we put so much emphasis on, oh man, these people are brilliant, and they are. I'm not saying that they're not. I am a little bit, but what I'm saying is that they're not looking through my lenses,
right?
They're not seeing the world as I see it. They don't see the scars, perhaps, that that I have that have built the character to keep climbing and chasing
the hands.
The hands,
right?
So I think a lot of it is you have to be able to say, you know what, if it's your dream, you've got to continue to fight for it. Man, just real quick, as I see JH Events and Flowers behind us, a little shout out to our friends over there. If you need flowers, check them out at jheventsflowers.com. And then Natural Therapy Wellness, www.mckinleymassage.com, 815-385-8190. Now, listen, if you're listening and you own a business or you don't own a business, but you're like, you know what, we absolutely love what 216 Creator Studios is doing. If you we're working on a new website with Think Big Go Local. Bobby Bainey has her show, Digital Boss Boardroom, on Fridays at noon. So we're coming out and it's going to be cool, but we're going to have a button on there that if you wanted to sponsor a show like Lisa's for one episode, you could do that. You could send in $100, $75, whatever. We'll give you a shout out for that week that you would be doing Lisa's show. And we apologize, you can hear I'm kind of beat up. I couldn't get in here on Sunday to help Lisa with her show. So this Sunday, Lisa, if you're coming in, awesome. But I couldn't, I didn't want to get her sick, right? I'm on the back end of this thing.
He's okay with getting me sick, Lisa, but
no, I'm on the back end of it. You can hear it's a little bit of a deal. So we apologize about that. But living outside the box with Lisa Eflin on Sundays, most Sundays. At 9 every other Sunday. Anyway, if you wanted to, feel free to reach out to us and to sponsor shows. $100.
Well, and also if you have a local business, we want you to come in and we want to new programs called Talk Local, and we'll interview you about your business, why you're in business, what you're doing, where you came from, and who you do it for. What is your dream, and are you living your dream? But think about getting involved in that.
Yeah, I love that. And thanks for the reminder, Lisa. Yeah, she did a great show. Remember the Kaleidoscope episode we did? People have tools and pieces of a puzzle, but you create your puzzle picture by choosing the ones that are you. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. And as we talk about a Dreamquest and working your way, you can AI it. You can get directions, right? But here's what let's look at it this way. When I was in school, you take the tests, the personality tests, the whatever, and my guidance counselor says,
"Yes,
you got to go into computers. You'd be a good computer programmer."
Yeah, all your answers,
right? Oh yeah, right. And then I get a detention for disrupting class because I talk too much, right? And then you need to go down this lane. You need to. We know this is what you do, right? And then all of a sudden, here it is. All these years later, I own a creator studio for people using their voice and talking too much, right? Had people back then said, "Wow, you got the gift of gab. You really can't shut your pie hole. You should look into communication or broadcasting."
Yeah,
maybe, but then again, maybe I would have been done by now and gone, no.
Well, I've always said my daddy used to hit me for telling stories. Now they pay me for it. So, yes, Shana, you are a podcaster in waiting. I understand I like what you say. You're a podcast critic, but you're always here. We appreciate you and we appreciate your input so much.
Lisa, yes, it would. Let's Talk Local is as long as somebody in your local area watches the show.
Well, and understand how you use that. Once you come in and we do the interview, then we give you the video and you use that as your own marketing.
You can chop that up.
So it's not just about the live audience that we'll have when doing. As a matter of fact, a lot of them will be pre-recorded.
We do the recordings on Tuesday, on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and then it airs the next Tuesday at noon. But right above me, right here is that's on everything, which is nice. So
to answer your question, Lisa, That guy right there. Lisa says, who would I reach out
Yeah,
to?
you can reach out to info@216thenet.com. That's INFO, so info@216thenet.com, and one of us will get back with you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Lisa, we'd love to interview you. There's a problem with that, though, Lisa.
What is the problem?
You usually take control. I do all the asking.
And it is, when you are the interviewer, sometimes it is hard to be interviewed. I've been on both ends many times, and I want to turn around and start asking the interviewer questions.
Yeah. I've had the opportunity to be on other people's podcasts, and it is very humbling. And it's but at the same time, it's like, ask me this. You should have asked me this. Boy, this is a weird thing, right? And so, when you sit on the other side of the mic, it is different.
I just had that conversation coming in. I was telling someone we're going to do a Talk Local interview for you. He goes, all right, well, send me the list of questions so I can be prepared. I said, you got the other guy. We don't do that.
Right.
We want you to speak from the heart. We're going to ask you questions that do get a little bit deep. Where'd your company come from? What was your driving force?
Yeah. So we had a great show yesterday at noon with PSK Company Inc. We had George Schwabe and Paul Katz on, and they assess risk. And it was you would think, boy, this will be boring, and it turned out to be an incredibly cool interview and fun. Right.
Well, those two guys are.
Thanks, Diana. You too.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Yep. Shana says, Coach, have you ever dismissed a client or given up on an athlete? Did you regret it? What did you learn?
From an athlete perspective, there was a young man. I'm not going to share his name, obviously, but Jerry Smith. He was a pain in the backside. He probably did more push-ups and ran more laps than any athlete for quite a while. He also had a season-ending injury every game. Oh, Coach, it's my MCL. My MCL is out. Where's your MCL? It's right. No, that's your ACL. It's right there. And 5 minutes later, I'm ready. Can I go back in? Right. And this would happen all the time. And this kid was just a pain. And then we're out west of Madison in a tournament. And in the first game, this one was a serious injury. It was an ankle. It was bad. It rolled over almost upside down. You could hear it. You could see it. It was gut wrenching. And I took him to the ambulance. My assistant coach is managing the game. I'm over by the ambulance. I have to call his parents. I cannot allow an athlete to be transported in an ambulance without his parents okay. And I got a book with all their numbers in it. And I call the home number, no answer. I call the mobile number, no answer. I said, okay, I have to call her work. And he's like, please don't call her work. I said, I have to call her work. I have to talk to her. You need to go to the hospital, and you can't go until I talk to your mother. And he just puts his head down. He says, Coach, I'm fine. And he's trying to get out of the ambulance. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I called the work. It was a gentleman's club. His mother was a stripper. Oh. And further investigation showed.
I believe they say dancer or entertainer.
She was a stripper. And further investigation showed that his stepfather, who lived at the same house, was one of the leaders of one of the gangs in the Kenosha, Wisconsin area. Drugs and all this stuff is constant in his life. He was reaching out to me. He didn't know this, but he was reaching out for attention from a male mentor. And all I'm doing is having him do more push-ups and run more laps. Yeah. And at that moment, I really, way to go, Coach. Good coach, right? So yes, I made that mistake once and would never make it again after that. On people, sometimes people really get to the worst side of you, and there have been the people I've had to walk away from, just because it's so heartbreaking to watch them. But athletes, once and never again.
As an athlete, if you can imagine squeezing juice out of an orange, right? And then you squeeze as much juice as you can out of that orange, and it kind of gets, yucky, and there's nothing else, right?
Right.
That's when I have, as a young lady, incredibly talented, incredibly tall, 6'3", right? So as a woman, you're like, man, as a basketball coach, you're like, hallelujah. But has been pampered and given everything without hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to squeeze as much out of that orange as I possibly could, to the point where I just said, there's nothing I can give you here. Because she didn't want it. Right. Now I've seen her in her high school, again, with all the ability to probably be one of the, a monster, one of the best ever. She just doesn't want it. Right. So, again, I think you have to be humble enough to go, you know what, you didn't, I can't deal with your attitude. You don't want it. I can't, I don't have the energy to give you if you don't want it. Right. And do I feel bad about that? No, I don't necessarily feel bad about that. They're taking a look from the outside. I think a lot of the reasons she's doing, mom and dad are like, and Big Brother is a heck of an athlete, right? So it's like, hey, and I don't think she wants anything. I think she would just be happy gaming or whatever. It's just who she is. I don't think she has the ability to say no to her parents. So it's a weird thing.
Well, we have come to the end. Thanks for the memories.
That's right. Of course, thanks to our sponsors, Natural Therapy Wellness Center, JH Events and Flowers.
216 the net.
If you want to sponsor any show, Lisa's show, my show, his show, her show, their show, reach out to info@216thenet.com, and we can get you the sheet that you can. And if you only want to sponsor just one episode, you can do that.
And if you want to provide criticism on the show, go to info@nobodycares.com.
Yep.
But truly, info@216thenet.com. I would like to hear you. Any input is good for us. We would love your interaction.
Absolutely. For all of us here at 216 Creator Studios,
we are two bald guys and a microphone, and we do approve this message. Now it's time for you to get off the bench and get back in the game. I am Coach Papa. This is Kent Jones, and we do approve this message.
Two bald guys and a microphone. 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 Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is growing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back, it feels good to be home.